Hello, my name is Ken Schutz and I'm the Garden's Executive Director.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Flood and I have had the pleasure to serve as President of the Garden's Board of Trustees for the last 2 years.
On behalf of our board, staff, and volunteers, it's our pleasure to welcome Garden members to our annual members meeting. First, some business. Thank you for casting your ballots for the Board of Trustees Class of 2026. I'm pleased to announce that you, our members, have approved the full slate of candidates as presented by the Garden's Nominating and Governance Committee. The election has concluded and we would like to introduce our newly elected trustees.
Welcome new trustees. We would like to take this time to recognize and thank our retiring trustees. First, I would like to recognize Jason Barlow. Jason is the president and CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Central Arizona. His many years of nonprofit leadership have benefited the garden in many ways. Jason brings a great deal of energy, passion, and performance to everything he does. He has chaired the Patron Circle Committee for the last few years, including during COVID, which was particularly tricky. He has been a fantastic MC at numerous garden events. His good nature and upbeat energy translated directly into his garden service. Chris Gately's wisdom and expertise on a broad range of business topics came to our attention initially through his participation on the Operations Support and IT committees. He is a Chief Revenue Officer and Principal at Paradigm Technology. Chris has most recently served on the Finance, Ops Support, Nominating and Governance, and Marketing committees. Chris has been integral in recruiting people to come to the garden, both as visitors and to serve on committees, which when combined with his good input at meetings has helped strengthen the garden's tools and infrastructure. Tammy McLeod is an advocate for the garden in every way. Tammy currently serves as President and CEO of the Flynn Foundation. She has been active at the garden on many committees as well as serving as board president, leading the garden through the challenging days of COVID. We have great appreciation to Tammy for all the ways she supports the garden. It is my pleasure to recognize another past president, Barb Hofnagel. Barbara previously served as the Associate General Manager at SRP. Barb brings a heavy toolbox of skills to the garden which benefit us greatly with information technology, capital projects, and personnel, ops, and financial matters and planning. Paul Morrell leaves deep fingerprints on some of the garden's most technical committees. He has served on the Executive, Finance, Ops Support, and Personnel committees for many years. His legacy can best be found in the Morrell Report, which he created to comprehensively identify and document fixed assets and their useful lives to allow for prudent planning of future capital expenditures. Paul is our model trustee, sharing his business expertise, which was honed over a 39-year career in the airline industry, where he retired as a vice president in a key leadership position. Paul and his wife Adrienne both have high profiles at the garden as they support the garden in a multitude of ways. Adriana Murrieta, Executive Director for the Farrell's Foundation, may be retiring from the board, but her efforts will be evident in both the immediate and far future. A native Colombian and active member of Arizona's Education Committee, the garden has been fortunate for her skills, connections, and insights. Adriana has been involved in the garden's strategic planning initiatives and served and chaired various committees, including the Education Committee. Mac Perlich has been a supporter of the garden for many years. In addition to serving as CEO and publisher of On Media Publications, Mac and her husband founded Act One to address the challenges faced by schools and others to attend art venues and events. Their Culture Pass program partners with over 150 libraries, providing access to the arts, including the Desert Botanical Garden, for students, retirees, and families. She's made a career of supporting Arizona arts, and we are proud to have had Mac as a trustee. She too has served on many committees, and with her husband, she chaired Dinner on the Desert. Lorena Van Ash, partner at law firm Thorpe Schwer, was introduced to the garden by longtime garden trustee and friend Bill Wilder, who recognized Lorena's talents and professionalism. Lorena has served on the garden's Community Audience and Engagement Committee, which works to expand the connection of the garden with our community. She also served on the Fund the Farm Committee this year. Thank you, Lorena, and all of our retiring trustees for your service to the garden.
To view our new 2023-2024 board officers as approved by the Board of Trustees, please visit our website. And with that, I'd like to thank and recognize you, Amy. Amy has served as president of the board these past 2 years as we find our new normal. She has been invaluable to me as the garden's executive director, and luckily we don't have to miss her quite yet, as she will continue to serve her term as a trustee of the board.
It is my great pleasure to introduce Harold Dornbecker as incoming board president. Harold has been involved in the garden in nearly every way for the past 12 years and is abundantly qualified to serve in the role as president. It has been my honor to serve the garden as board president, and I am excited for the leadership of Harold and the other board officers.
Thank you, Amy, Ken, and the board for the honor to serve as board president of Desert Botanical Garden. As I look back on my service to the garden, I am amazed by the accomplishments of prior presidents and the staff. Since visiting more than 30 years ago, not only have the plants matured, the design and layout and the member and visitor experience has improved. Plus, our art exhibits are outstanding, while the important research and scientific work continues to draw national and international attention. The next 2 years will be a period of transition and growth. Completion of the Capital Initiative, the build-out of the Hazel Hare Center for Plant Science, an updated 20-year master plan, and a 5-year strategic plan, and embarking on a re-accreditation by the American Alliance of Museums. I will do my best in working with all of you to achieve these goals. Thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Next year, the garden will celebrate its 85th anniversary. In 85 years, the garden has grown from a small grassroots garden founded to conserve cactus in the desert to an internationally recognized conservation and research organization and a top botanical garden for visitors from around the world. It's time to grow again. Starting soon through 2025, we will have major construction projects at the garden. These projects will add to both the visitor and staff experiences as we introduce a new garden, the Christensen Family Garden, and complete phase 2 of the Hazel Hare Center for Plant Science. Science with a world-class horticulture center, new shade pavilion, and a new exhibit gallery. All this construction means disruption, so thank you in advance for pardoning our dust.
Hello, I'm Elaine McGinn, Chief Experience Officer.
And I'm Kim McHugh, Chief Science Officer.
We are pleased to share upcoming construction plans and give you a glimpse of the future garden. Some of you may remember past construction projects and know there are always some disruptions, but the result will be beautiful new spaces to enjoy. Let's take a look at how the garden has grown in the recent decades. As Ken mentioned, the garden celebrates its 85th anniversary next year, so let's look at the physical growth of the garden. Some of you may remember a time when admissions was at the entrance of the Wildflower Trail. Take a look at the garden shop and visitor center in 1961 and then again in 1998. These images pale in scale to the admissions booths you know today. Addison Entry Garden, formerly the garden's original parking lot, now acts as a grand welcome for visitors, tourists and locals alike. The garden's Webster Auditorium, built in 1939, is listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. In the 70s, just behind the auditorium, where Ullman Terrace now sits, was the original back of house, a horticulture center, plant nursery, and facilities operations. Today, we are excited to unveil what horticulture and plant care looks like 50 years later. Other areas of the garden that have moved or changed shape include the library, research and education buildings, many of our garden trails, and the plants themselves. The garden is always growing.
It is a personal joy to see how the garden has grown over time, and I am particularly excited to share with you all the plans for the second phase of the Hazel Hare Center for Plant Science. The HHCPS is located on the east side of the garden, and while visitors don't see much of our behind-the-scenes work, the work done in these buildings is central to the garden's global conservation and research efforts. Phase 1 was completed in 2017 and consists of the Marley Horticulture Learning Lab, which supports educational programming and the garden's Desert Landscape School, Greenhouse West, a state-of-the-art greenhouse, and opened in 2019, the Ahern Desert Conservation Laboratory, a facility housing the garden seed bank and supporting seed research, herbarium specimen prep, and soil ecology. Phase 2 will continue development of the HHCPS campus with a new world-class horticulture center, ensuring horticulture staff can expertly care for desert plants. A new 10,000 square foot shade pavilion to shield and protect plant collections from both the harsh desert sun and crafty wildlife, and a new exhibit gallery designed to support displays of both the garden's living plant collection and temporary art installations. Construction for Phase 2 will begin this summer with anticipated completion in 2025.
While so much, but not all, of the Hazelhare Center for Plant Science will be back of house, we are excited to unveil a new garden along the Desert Discovery Loop Trail for you to enjoy. The Christensen Garden will be nestled between the current cactus and succulent galleries, with a variety of hedges, small arbor, bridge, and water features that will create an idyllic garden for visitors to linger and sit. Construction begins this summer and is anticipated for completion in late 2023. These two construction projects are funded through philanthropic support. We thank our donor community and can't wait for you to see these new spaces and the impact they will make. Please note another construction project happening this summer, parking lot asphalt work, which will require the garden to close to the public July 1 through July 7th.
Hello, I am Mike Ramidi, the garden's Chief Development Officer. It is inspiring to work with a donor community that cares so passionately about our organization. This past year alone, over $13 million from almost 7,000 donors has been donated to support projects across the garden. Specifically, over $7.5 million was raised this year to support the construction of the Hazelhare Center for Plant Science. And this is a project that will advance our goal to become a global leader in desert plant conservation and the most sophisticated center in the Southwest for cactus and agave horticulture research. The 6 structures that comprise the center could not have been built without the commitment of our donors. Now, we are excited to begin construction this summer and look forward to sharing with you updates throughout the coming year. Desert Botanical Garden has a deep appreciation for its generous donor family. Now, unlike other arts and culture institutions across the country, the garden relies primarily on revenue from gifts and general admission, as it receives no public support. Year in and year out, your donations ensure that we can achieve our mission, and we so appreciate your partnership. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our garden members for supporting us through your membership. We are proud to be a member-based organization committed to advanced excellence in education, research, exhibition, and conservation of desert plants of the world. We couldn't do it without you. Now, please enjoy this short feature of what's to come in 2023.